You used to be so beautiful, you used to be so elegant, you used to serve the needs of the story, but now you're just bronze trash! So for those of you who don't know, big fucking Dalek fan, so kinda know what I'm talking about when it comes to Daleks, you know? Yeah, essentially this video is, the bronze Daleks need to go. I've been holding off making this video for a long time because I just wasn't sure how to do it, but since I'm on a roll and I've kind of pre-recorded about 5 videos today, it's finally time to make that video. The bronze Daleks are redundant now, and I'm going to tell you through my reasoning. Now there are people, you're entitled to your own opinion, I'm not going to trash talk you for having your own view of things, like that's not what I do, I'm not that kind of person. Maybe I am a little bit, but not to your face. No, jokes. The bronze Daleks are done. Their story is complete. And it was complete about 10 years ago, and we've been stuck with these guys ever since. So... But if you like the design, that's brilliant, but I think we all, as a fandom, need to accept that it's time to move on, and I just hope that Rusty Davies, he's educated, he knows what makes a story. I mean, his era has been built up of fantastic monster designs and elements that all come together to create a fantastic story, not just scripts, but, you know, everything. So he does know what it's all about, so I have faith that he's going to get rid of the bronze ones, or hopefully blow them all up on screen. That'd be brilliant. Okay, so let's travel back in time to 2005. So with the Metaltron, it looked stellar. It looked fantastic, didn't it? The bronze Daleks in their prime looked amazing. Now, this isn't because they are bronze. It's because the props were incredibly well constructed and they suited the purposes of the story. The bronze kind of just came with it, and it told a story in and of itself. Bronze kind of indicates like a very ancient tank or something like that, something that is kind of indestructible, so it worked for that purposes. It's got the rivets, it's got the bolts, it's got the seeping oil from the hemispheres, so they are war machines. They really suit the purposes of the Time War. It makes sense that the Daleks are gonna be a bit beaten up, a little bit off-looking, because, well, I mean, they've literally gone through like a million-year war, so it makes sense that they look like that. The bronze and the dirt and all the rivets all make sense to tell that story. So I love the bronze Daleks for the time that they were used in the Rusty Davies era, but then 2010 came along. Now, I'm a massive fan of the Paradigm. I adore these things. I think that they really suited the purposes of telling a new Dalek story, because that's what it's all about. I think the red drones were great, invading the universe in style, and you got to remember there'll be millions of red drones and only few of the others, so it's not exactly like you're gonna have Skittles flying through space. But the strategists were like the leading ones of the drones. They kind of directed the armies and stuff like that, so it made sense. The scientists were orange, kind of in the laboratories and stuff like that, which is a really cool idea. The Eternal, we don't know what it is, but there's only one and it's a mystery, so it's really cool to have like a mystery thing. And the Supreme was just a fucking badass, right? He was such a badass. I love the Supreme. So that's why I think the Paradigm should have stayed, and they suit the needs of the story because they all have different roles, and it's like a new bright and bold colourful era for the Daleks. But sadly, the audience didn't see it that way, and admittedly I didn't at the time either. I mean, I've talked extensively about the Paradigm, but I think to back up my point of the Daleks needing to evolve, I need to bring them up, because, well, they showed us a brighter future. I mean, pun entirely intended, but they showed us a great future for the Pepper Potts, and they could have told fantastic new stories with different ranks of Daleks, but people couldn't see past the Skittles, and it didn't happen. So that didn't work, so they reverted to using the bronze ones, but the bronze ones, their time was up. They had their story, they had the Time War story. Like in Genesis, they were tanks kind of crudely made, put together, and they were grey, they were meant to be dull warriors and didn't really give a shit about what they looked like. But then as the Daleks progressed, I think subconsciously they developed a sense of style, like with the Planet Supreme, the elegance of that kind of thing, and the gold leader colour code, that it was different. And, well, the 60s ones as well, they had all their different variants and things, and they were kind of bold, they invaded the universe in style a little bit, and I think it really suited the time period because it was very Art Deco, so I think that worked really well. and it all just made sense. The Necros Daleks were a new breed which Davros created. They were made from discarded human remains and stuff like that, so it makes sense that they have a new design that's different to the grey ones. And the grey ones are in the same story because narrative, that's how it works. You have Daleks which look different, which are colour-coded differently, the white ones, to the regular kind of battle-scarred resurrection kind of ones. So they work in tandem from a narrative perspective. Then the Imperial Daleks come along and they are the fantastic new race, badass, and the Special Weapons Dalek was dirty because for the purposes of the story, it had to be dirty because it had been in many wars. And the Daleks were like new off of a factory line. In the Rusty Davis area, like I said, with the Time War thing, it made sense for them to look like that, but when it comes to Asylum of the Daleks, Into the Dalek and all that kind of stuff, they lost the flair. They lost it. I think having the Paradigm as the officer class, sure, yeah, it kind of worked, but it never continued after that episode. So maybe I'd be okay with the Bronze Daleks sticking if they were... Well, I think, no, it's a crap idea. I think having the Bronze Daleks as the goons is a terrible idea, and I think they needed a new design. But yeah, I think it's just the Daleks need a new place in the narrative because people are bored of the Daleks. They're a mockery, they're a joke. They don't work as well anymore because it's the same tired design, and for some reason they're very polished looking now. They're very clean bronze Daleks, and that's not what the Time War Daleks should look like. They just need a new design to fit a new narrative. I think that there needs to, in the story there, I'm not going to do the ins and outs of the story because I'm not a writer for Doctor Who, but I think that they should create a new breed of Daleks just to make them fresh. Because there's nothing you can do with the Bronze Daleks anymore. They're done, okay? Big Finish did all like the hierarchy structure and all that kind of stuff. So with the Dalek Interrogator Prime and the Axis, whatever, it's all done. They tried to do it in Time Lord Victorious, but it wasn't in the main show, so I can't really count it. At least they understood that we needed to do something fresh with the Daleks. When they wheel out the same Daleks again, it's like, oh, here we go. And I think that recolouring the props is a terrible idea because that doesn't serve a narrative purpose, it doesn't do anything for them. So I think like a really futuristic, sleek looking Dalek design is probably the way to go for the next one. Invading the universe in style again, being the dominant force and not giving a shit and just looking supreme as fuck. I think they definitely need that. Yeah, I would want the Paradigm to come back, but maybe something akin to like the TV21 Daleks or something akin to the movie Daleks, but obviously not just a rehash, like a completely fresh design from the ground up, but keeping the same look of the Dalek. I'm not going to watch the new era if the Bronze Daleks are still in it. It just shows me that they haven't learned a thing. Narrative and design work in tandem to create a really cool piece of art. Okay, let me know what you guys think down below. I know it's for a weird reason, a controversial topic, but it's, you know, Daleks have always progressed with the story and they've always regenerated and kept fresh, but for some reason in the revived era, they've stayed the same. I mean, look at the Ironsides. They were brilliant. They served the purposes of that story. They were a great one-off design. And I think Chibnall he did a good job with the reconnaissance scouts and the defense drones, but he just needed to create new normal Daleks as well. Thank you very much for watching this, guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.